Meeting order. This is our commission meeting for Monday, July the 22nd, 24 at 4 p.m. And let's do a roll call first. Mr. Burris.
Present.
Mr. Pope.
Present.
Mr. Lucas.
Present.
Mr. Hendrick. Here. Cheers here. Okay, before we start, I'm going to ask Mr. Burris if he would lead us in prayer.
Yes. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you, O God, for this day. We will rejoice and be glad in it. We thank you, O Lord, for this time, O God, to be able to deliberate the business of this county. And everything that we do, let it be done with thee in mind, O God. We pray, Father, that you will give us the right things to say. And we pray, God, for your divine wisdom to lead us and guide us into the decision that we make today. Father, we pray, God, you will look upon this nation of ours. We pray, God, you will just continue to bless us, oh God. And Father, we just ask, oh God, you will just continue to be with each and every one here, all our citizens. And we pray, God, and thank you for Jesus Christ for dying for our sins. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We have any, got any guest speakers? We got any speakers? Anybody?
We didn't have anybody to sign up.
Nobody signed
If there's
up.
anybody here that wants to speak.
Okay, we'll go on to the agenda items. Okay. We have an appointment request for the Ware County Board of Assessors, post 2.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is a request from Mr. Dennis Rollins. He is an appraiser himself in his business, and he's requesting to be appointed to replace Mr. Nathaniel Housel.
Okay.
I think Billy Carter has approved his request, hasn't he?
He has. And I was about to mention, Mr. Carter can't be here today. His mother's sick. He's taking care of her. So, but he's recommended Mr. Rollins to be appointed.
Okay. And we don't have no more applications, and he's the only one that
He's the only one.
applied for it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And he is retired from his business?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Chairman, I think that'll be a pretty good asset to the assessors board to have someone that has some appraisal experience. I think that's be good. And also he wanting to serve, so I think that's good.
Yeah, he's been appraiser for 35 years.
Probably
That's
can't
pretty
find
good.
anybody more qualified than Dennis for that position.
That's correct. He's done it for many years,
He sure has.
many years.
Okay. Any more discussion on it? No, I'll carry it over then.
We're not carrying it over, are we?
Yeah, this is called
Well,
meeting.
go
You
ahead.
got done it now?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
This is already called meeting. We can appoint him. Okay.
Chairman, I move that we appoint Dennis Rollins to post 2 of the Ware County Board of Assessors to replace Mr. Nathaniel Housel.
Housel?
Okay, I got a motion.
I'll second that.
You got a second. Okay. Any discussion on it?
Well, Mr. Chairman, not so much discussion, but I'd just like to extend thanks to Mr. Nathaniel Housel because he served on that board for a long time, and he was very particular about, wanting to try to get someone that could really come in and really do the job and wanted to do the job. So I just want to send kudos to him.
Good
Okay.
fella, very good fella.
Good. All righty. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris.
Aye.
Mr. Pope.
Aye.
Mr. Lucas.
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick. Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Okay. ARPA proposed purchase for E911 radio system. That's,
You got Ms. Faye here, Chairman?
is,
Ms. Faye's here.
Yeah.
hey, she
Ms.
gonna
Fay
come
and
up.
also
Okay, Fay.
Mr. Mike Monroe's here too, I believe.
Okay. Y'all come up.
Good evening once again.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Yes. Mr. Monroe. is
You
gonna
back
speak.
again, won't you?
Yes, sir. We appreciate all that you have done for us, and we
Okay.
thank you for what you're gonna do for us today.
Yes, ma'am. Glad to have you back.
Mr. Monroe is going to speak regarding our radio system. The current system we have is 9 years of age, 9 years old. There are currently some malfunctions. It's not functioning properly like it should be, and there are some things that need to be updated on it, as well as our phones and the CAS system that we have, but he's gonna expound further on it. And I just learned today from some of my operators that there are some glitches whenever we're toning out EMS in different units on that particular system that we have now. So this is a very good time for us to go ahead and approve this. So Mike,
Okay,
I'll say
Right.
while he speaks.
thank you.
Well, first of all, the manufacturer of the dispatch console has a, expected life of their equipment, which some of it is 8 to 10 years. Computers need to be changed, periodically to keep up with different operating systems, and just, they're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then they had another list of some of the interfaces that connect the actual console system to the radios. And some of those parts are no longer available, and there's nothing. I mean, they'll continue to work until they quit, but when they quit, we won't have anything to replace them with. So they're saying that we need to purchase new ones. And we have the county's had a maintenance agreement, which Zetron is the manufacturer, and the fee that you pay every year, if anything fails, they ship us a new one, at no charge. And they have an engineer on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I have an issue, I can call, at 4 o'clock in the morning. So they're a real good company. We've always had Zetron equipment ever since we started 911. Well, not to start with, but when we started with computers, we went to Zetron. And this is our 3rd generation over 20-something years. So, some of the radios we have are, they were in use when we had the 911 center here at the old hospital building was, right here. So some of those need to be updated, and that's why I added them to the list. And everything will be the same model, so it's easier on me to maintain. When I've got 5 different models, they're used for fire, EMS, sheriff's department, road department, city fire, and all this. Just difficult to, unless they're all the same. It'd make it a lot easier on me to keep up.
Like all of this equipment on this list is a lot of it. All of this will stay in the 911 center. I mean, it's not equipment that goes out to other
No,
departments.
it's all in the 911 center.
But these radios, they can talk to any of the departments.
Yes. See, the console equipment connects to the radios.
I got you.
And we have a radio room out here at the center, which there's a rack with all of the console routers and switches and everything in that. The mobile radio gateways that connect the system to the radios. And they're all right there in one room.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Chairman, and also, thank Ms. Faith for coming out, 9/11 operator, and Mr. Monroe. I heard of him and know he does a lot of stuff. I think it's the first time I can remember seeing him, to know who he is. So, and one of the things I guess that was you, you sent it to Faye about how the computers, how they pretty much running 24/7. And, anything like that is just gonna get a lot of wear and tear on it. And, I think this is gonna pretty much get everything out that you need, Ms. Cooper.
I think this will do it.
Okay, because but I tell you, I mean, I know we spend a lot of money out there, but a lot of this stuff has been over a period of years. It has been, just about gone antiquated, And whenever someone calls for an emergency, we don't want anything talking about, well, we got to see this thing, we couldn't quite hear on it, or we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. So I think good, especially for our first responders and emergency personnel, because I know if I got a loved one, if somebody had to call for me, I want everything working, you know? And, sometimes we don't realize how old and antiquated something is until we get something new. And I say that to say this, I thought I was up to date on my cell phone until I got a new one. I found out that was a dinosaur that I had, you know?
Let me mention this, there's a lot more involved in the county's radio system than just the 911. There's a lot of,
Right,
like the fire and the sheriff's department, EMS, a lot of that equipment is really old, and this doesn't address that.
right.
And there've been some range issues, you know, since, you know, the population's increased. There's areas that need to be covered that we're having issues in, but that's a totally different thing. In 2012, we had a propagation study done by the sheriff, and to install, you know, more towers and more equipment to give full countywide coverage, and that never went through. I think it was approved, but never, the money was never.
It was on the SPOS tax and it wasn't voted for. About $3 million, if I remember right.
Yes, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Right.
So none of that, you know, that's been, I forget how many years ago, but it's been quite a while. So there's a lot of other equipment that needs to be updated with, you know, through the county's radio systems also.
Okay.
But this is just the 911 equipment. Any other questions?
Mr. Monroe, with that, what you just said, are our firefighters, police officers, deputy sheriffs, are they, the equipment they have now, I know most of them are digital, but will they integrate into this?
Well, they have, see, anytime we replaced a radio since 2012, we replaced them with digital capabilities. But the system that Ware County has is not digital. So we've got a lot of digital radios, but they're not being operated in that mode, so they're all still in the analog mode.
When we go to this new system, is this gonna be digital?
Are you talking about the 911 equipment?
But you're proposing here?
That has nothing to do with that.
Has nothing to do with that?
No.
Okay.
Now, we do have, there's a couple of digital channels that we put in, but I'd say 99% of the dispatches go out in the analog mode because that's what the whole system is.
Okay. So I take it we'll probably be looking at something like that in the very near future? Okay.
So some of that equipment's 20, 25 years old.
Yes, sir.
And it still works, and I still maintain it. I'm not saying it's just gonna quit.
But then again, it could.
It is something that's gonna need to be addressed before long.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Monroe, is that, the same equipment was in 15, was 133, now it's 122, a little cheaper, ain't it?
Well,
Or is it
we're not
less or-
replacing, we're replacing just some of the stuff.
Some of the stuff, not all of it,
Not all of it, no.
not equal to what we bought in
It's the
15.
same equipment, you know, same manufacturer. It's just updated versions of some of the things they said that would need to be replaced within the 8 to 10 year, 12-year period.
Well, how much longer now will this be before it comes up that we'll have to replace some more? Is this chart right here, is that telling us that some of it run out in these years on this
Probably
warranty?
another 10 years,
10,
yep. Yes, sir.
that we're looking at it, we'll be looking at it again.
I mean, it's that way with the CAD system, the phone system, everything. You know, you can, just look at about every 10 years, you're gonna have to upgrade because the computers change.
Okay.
I mean, I've still got a couple of systems that are still operating on Windows XP, and you know how old that is. That's, you know, told them they need to be upgraded. They're still working, and they'll work as long as it works, but there's nothing to repair it with when it tears up. Now, that's not Ware County, it's another one I deal with.
Okay. All right,
I'm not
that's
trying
it.
to force them into buying anything they have to. I mean, it's just something they're gonna need to do. When it fails, there's nothing to replace it with.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, thank you, Mr. Monroe. Okay, any more on it?
think it's
Can I
needed.
hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
okay, I move that we, approve the, offer, proposed purchase of the, E911 radio system. I think that's in the amount of 130, 122.
122, 605.
Yeah, 122,605.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Is any discussion on it?
I think it's needed, and I'm kinda like Commissioner Burris, my family, one of my loved ones or a dear friend, or any citizen in Ware County deserves the best that we can offer.
Okay. Any more? Not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope? Aye. Mr. Locust?
Aye.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. ARPA proposed purchase of the fire department turnout gear and school bottles.
You got the chief here.
Is, we had them last year, didn't we? We bought some,
We bought some, I believe it was 2 years ago, wasn't it, chief?
was it 2 years ago?
Good afternoon. We're requesting, a couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I came up here and we had some people from the community ask that we needed to get some gear for some of the stuff. When I told y'all we were gonna have to come back with this request because our SCBA bottles, we were asking to replace 29 of those, which has a date from 2009. So we're having to replace them. They have a 15-year life expectancy on them. So they're going to be out of date and they're just going to have to be replaced. Our turnout gear has a 10-year shelf life on it. So we've got some sets of gear that's going toward that end of the 10-year. And plus we're finishing up our recruit class and we're going to have several of those that are going to come out and be suppression guys, which will need the turnout gear to go inside a burning structure. And we have 3 new guys that we have hired since we had gear last time that will be in this 10 sets to be replaced. So we're at the need where our time limits run out on our SCBA bottles of 15 years and our time limit on our turnout gear is run out. So that's what we're requesting is the 10 sets of gear and the 15 SCBA bottles.
Can the bottles be tested and recertified?
The new ones can't. The old ones that's 15-year-old, we gotta destroy them. They can be used for absolutely nothing.
They can't even be used for training or anything. I
They
think
have to
that,
be completely taken out of service. They say you can drill a hole in them so nobody can put air in them whatsoever. Most of those bottles are steel bottles, and we're going now to more of a carbon wrap bottle, which is one a lot lighter, but it's just that it's gonna be good for 15 years.
And the turnout gear is good for what, 10 years?
10 years. Yes, sir.
and if I remember, Chief Meadows, if I may, Commissioner, I believe last conversation we had, this is, help us with our fire safety numbers.
Yeah, this will, when we had our ISO inspection, they come in and done all of our dates and looked at all the records on all the bottles. So this will keep us in compliance with everything that we need because of our old stuff is just gonna be out. It's actually gonna be out in the end of July, 1st of August of this year. So we've already contacted the people that give us quotes and we can have our stuff available to us when we need it. Now, when we get it, we'll have to, it don't come with air in it. We got a trailer that we put air in it and they'll be tested every year. Our SCBA's goes through a test every year by a certified group of people that comes in and gives us test results that we've had everything tested.
Okay, and I believe also, in conjunction with that, when there were some volunteers, I believe, came up and they were talking about wanting to get some turnout gear. And, so I guess some of the turnout gear that still has a life expectancy will be used for the volunteers maybe, and then, okay.
Yes, sir. There's some of the new volunteers that's coming out in the suppression side will get some of the new gear, and then 3 of our people in current full-time firefighters will get some of the 10 sets, and then some of the old stuff that we have, not older, will be passed down to some of the rest of the volunteers.
And I guess that stuff comes in, I guess, different sizes, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, you don't order a small, medium, or large. You usually get the person to come in because they're kind of fit for each one. And, you know, we've got some where we've got real tall people, and then we got real short people. And so we just have to let them come in and
right.
do more of a size to what they need. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you, Dean. Okay. Any more? You wanna make a motion?
Yes, sir, I make a motion that we approve fire department turnout gear and SCBA bottles, 10 sets of turnout gear totaling $33,280, 29 air cylinders totaling $32,815.24. That'll replace the ones purchased in 2009 with a 15-year shelf life.
Second.
Okay.
I believe total amount, if the math's correct, be $66,095.24.
Total, yeah. Okay, then you got mattress for both fire stations.
That's already been taken care of.
That's what
You
it
done got them taken care of?
That's what they're doing.
Okay. Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. The fiscal year 2025 local maintenance and improvement grant, LMIG program.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is for the upcoming LMIG grant application, and I thought I'd put this on here. The application's not due until February, but we typically get them done, get them sent in, and they'll send us the money, and we can get started. But I just wanted to put this out there to get some ideas, if you have any, on what sort of ideas you may have for these funds. We have to match it with 10%. So typically, we put $200,000 to $300,000 on each one just to add to the project.
Okay.
But I didn't know if you had any ideas that y'all have now, we can extend it, go into the next meeting or one after. Just get you to start thinking about it and see if you have any ideas now.
You say you just try to get in by when? Excuse me.
It's due in February, but we typically will get these in fairly soon, usually right after we get this notice. And then that way, they typically will send a check within 2 weeks. And then we can get moving and get started on the project. But we have to submit the project list on what we're planning on doing to DOT, and then they'll approve it and then send the check.
Okay. I guess the way I understand it, and we need to submit the projects to you that we,
With
What
whatever,
used it
yes, or
moving
whatever
forward.
project list that the commission wants to submit, with the use of these funds, we'll submit that to DOT, and they typically approve it and then turn around and send us a check shortly thereafter.
okay. Now, that list we've got that list, haven't we? Of a lot of
This is
projects.
a whole,
Must be a new
this is a
one.
whole new
Old
list.
stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's for any new project that the commission wants to do.
Oh, this is for the new stuff that we want.
Very new,
Okay.
very new
Okay.
projects, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
We want to pave some dirt roads then.
Mr. Chairman, I think that, since we got a little wonder there, that maybe we can, between now and the next meeting or the meeting after, where we kind of come together and see what we want to do on that.
Right. Okay, that's a good idea.
We got some time.
Let's,
Yes.
yeah, let's table it till maybe,
Okay.
Come up with some roads to
yeah,
Yeah.
let's give
actually do.
everybody time to think about it a little bit. We'll come back, that's what's this, July?
I like to try to go ahead and let y'all know as soon as we get notified, so that gives you more time to think about what you might wanna use the funds for.
Bring it back in September?
Yep.
That'd be
Well, we
okay
can
with y'all?
actually,
We'll have plenty of time.
Yep,
Okay.
if that's enough time.
Yeah.
Yep. But if I hear from all the commissioners on ideas, I can put it back out and y'all can discuss it and decide what to do.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, let's
I
table
just
it.
don't wanna be no copying from the ones we've already voted and approved.
Right.
and
Right,
I
right.
don't wanna do that.
Yep.
You wanna,
Mr. Chairman, just since we are in a called meeting today instead of a work session, let's take a motion to table it, just so we'll
Yeah.
have that for our minutes, if you will, please.
I was fixing to ask for a motion to table it. Okay, do I hear a motion to table it?
So moved, Chair.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, this was a bid award for the fiscal year 2024 DOT LMIG roadway improvement.
This project was just bid and last week the bids came in. There were 3 bids. One with East Coast Asphalt, another with Scruggs Company, and a third one is Thrift Brothers. And the apparent low bid on this was, East Coast. And there's a list that I supplied somewhere in here of the roads that, are included for resurfacing. They're on toward the end, Swamp Road, Jamestown Road, North Augusta, South Augusta, Sycamore Street, Old Reynolds Street, and Winclay Drive.
That's the list that we, adopted the resolution and sent to the state, and they approved it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
And that's what we, unanimously agreed to do, right?
That's correct.
Let me ask you about East Coast. I mean, they have not met the terms of their existing contract, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Have they been fined? Have they talked to the bonding company about getting somebody to finish
There's,
it, or?
there's only, I think the only communication when Brandon and Gene were here were verbal, with them, but there was nothing ever written. There's no liquidated damages been assessed or anything.
At what point do you do something?
I think that would be, and I'll defer to the county attorney, but I would think that would be a decision that the commission would have to
From what I understand, they don't respond whatsoever.
If the commission desire, my understanding is it's not a work product issue, but a timing of completion issue, that they were given 90 days to complete the project from the date of the notice to proceed. So, I'll ask Scott, let's look back and just make sure on our end, we've crossed all our Ts, dotted all our Is, that everything was in place for completion within the 90 days. I don't know what discussions have occurred or not occurred, so I'd like to know about that. And then we can give them notice that, the contract says if they're outside the time of completion, there are liquidated damages as penalties if that isn't y'all's intent to do so. So staff just needs direction, if that's your intent.
And
So there's kind of a two issue, one is what to do about the current contract with East Coast, and then the second would be how does that affect this bid, because they are the apparent low bidder here. And of course, we've had discussions before about sometimes the lowest bid may not be the best bid if it's not from what we deem a responsible or responsive bidder. And so you all, based on if you believe there's issues with the current work being performed, could choose to document that. And then I do note that the lowest bid and the next lowest bid is very, very close together as far as percentage of the entire project.
I asked Scott what the fine would be, or whatever you call it, liquidated damages, and it's virtually the same thing, the difference. So, I mean, I don't feel good about voting to give it to somebody who can't fulfill their current contract.
Have they ever not finished the contract?
I believe we just heard it wasn't in writing or anything, it was just verbal agreements, wasn't it?
You mean in the past?
Yeah.
with Ware County?
Have they
Not
ever-
that I'm aware of, no, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the one
There's always been times, in the past for years that, you know, we've extended, when they needed time, if there was rain days, yeah,
Yeah.
that's documented and so forth. But even beyond that, we've never really pushed that, only because we're in a situation, and I've talked to Jennifer about this, is you typically don't want to, narrow down your bidders. You know, and if you get in a bad relationship with somebody and they say, well, we won't bid anymore, and you don't want to be left with one or two. You want as many as you can
Right.
get. So that's why we try to work with people as much as we can.
And there's no issues with the work that they're actually doing far as quality.
No, sir, not at all.
It's just they haven't met,
Yeah.
they have, shoulders and striping maybe left to do on their contract?
I think that's accurate.
Now,
You know, one potential suggestion would be, because we do have, we've got a lowest bidder that we want to make sure is a responsible bidder. You could table this decision on the new project and see if, they very quickly can resolve the issues for the old project in a way that would then make you comfortable awarding to the lowest bidder. That's
Do
a
you-
possibility.
Yes, like if we could get a representative from East Coast, I mean, if we're under contract with them and they're doing work, if we can get a representative here to speak to us and
I think
let's
that's,
see what's going on.
that's my thing.
It seems like there's lack of communication there,
Right.
maybe between, county engineers and who's doing the work right there.
Especially if it wasn't put on paper and it was just basically a conversation handshake, right?
Well, I think we got a contract, written
We do,
contract.
we have a contract, it's just that typically,
verbally.
they just touch on the status. At the time, we really didn't have any other project like resurfacing going on. So there really wasn't that big of a rush, but it was trying to stick to the contract itself.
did we send them a letter? They was in liquidated damages.
We have not yet.
We
That's
haven't,
my
no, sir.
understanding.
We
I
haven't.
asked that also.
Are
We
they
have not.
in liquidated damages at this time on that project?
They are outside their
Yes.
90-day completion date.
Yep.
In the contract, does it state that
Like
you're gonna have
78
liquidated?
days, 79 days. I'm sorry, Commissioner.
In the contract, does it state each day after this, there'll be a liquidated damages of what, like
Jennifer read
$1,500?
through it, I don't know if you can
I think
respond.
it's 500
$500
per day.
per
Now,
day.
there are extenuating circumstances, of course, and that's one reason that I was asking, was there any written, even just emails or any sort of documentation that I could tell from either Gene or Brandon, if there were any issues we'd been made aware of or anything like that, so.
Well, I would think that, and I concur with Commissioner Salmon said, that I think the first thing we need to do is talk. We need to communicate with each other, find out, and whether it be through you send them a letter or as they say, have a representative come, and then also let them know that we're holding off on this, but right now, this contract being awarded to them may be contingent on them showing us some, what they're planning to do, because it could have been something we don't know about that caused them to be delayed like this now.
All the conversation was with Brandon and Gene with them, and so I'll look to see if there's any emails that's any communication, but if nothing else, we can get them here to respond.
But I agree with you that we don't need to start, taking people off and then you start limiting the number of people that can bid on projects,
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Some of these projects, I question these projects already about this 90-day stuff. I've never, you take $2-3
90
million
days is a
for
short
90
period on a
days.
construction
Huh?
job.
That's a short period. And that, whoever's setting that time is not. I asked for this to be moved.
So you think,
And if you remember, I did, Scott, I asked before it ever went out to extend them days. And we shortening these days up on these people, and they running these prices up. I was a contractor for 40 years, I know. If you shorten my days, I'm gonna jack your money up.
and then also too, and I agree with you on that,
That
it
ain't
could
right.
be that if they get where they crunch, they may start compromising the quality of the work.
That's right.
You
You
so.
shorten their days, that's not a good process.
So, and I think that's one of the things, whenever with awarding these contracts, we need to get with the, whoever the companies that get them and let them basically tell us, okay, this is what we can do it in.
Yeah,
That
that's
way-
one of the things we'd have to change. They were already in the bid specs that way when we started advertising. But that was one of the reasons why I put the other agenda item on here, is because once we have that project list, you have 3 years from start to finish to get everything done, all the reports turned in. So if you start early and get it out there, you can give contractors more time.
Yeah.
You know, so that way you're not in so much of a push to do it.
So what do you think, Mr. Chairman? I mean, you've been in that type of work, as far as just what would be an average, you know, I guess it would depend on how many streets they're doing and all that.
Probably a project like that right there, probably go 120 days. 90 days, you can't hardly get moved in, and then if you get rain for a couple of weeks, you know, weather plays a big part in it. And,
I don't think staff has any objection to that, so honestly, whatever the commissioners establish for the next project is
Yep.
what we'll use.
We can start doing that from here on out.
Yeah, so as far as this project though, your direction to staff is for the county manager to have some sort of verbal and probably also written communication, just seeing if we can get the former project finished up and let them know also that we have tabled this new project until that's resolved. Is that fair?
Yeah, the next meeting is, August the 12th, I believe it.
Yes, sir.
So it should be enough time to get all this wrapped up and see how quick we can do it.
Okay.
I do think, again, Scott, they need to talk with us, they don't need to be evasive or just disregard us. I think they need to talk to us and,
Yep.
like Commissioner Salmon said, have a representative from that company come and, as the scripture said, come let us reason together. Now, let's get this thing straightened out, you know.
how far behind you say are they? 70 something days?
78 days.
78 days, I believe.
Yep,
I
78.
think it's what it was.
And the job's not complete yet.
The striping,
No,
I think it's the striping.
That's just the striping,
The striping, yes, sir.
or the weather could have something to do with
Yeah.
it.
Talking about all this nice, dry, hot weather we've been having.
That rain about every day. Every evening we have a flu.
Yeah, I got rainwater in my pool. I don't have county water.
Okay.
So would you all like to make a
What
motion
you
to
gonna-
table it for those steps to be taken?
Table it or?
Table.
I would offer a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we table this bid, about voting on it until we, talk with, representative from East Coast and make sure we got a good, clear understanding as to when they plan to finish, and then also, I guess go back and revise this next contract to give them more time, whoever the low bidder is.
All right, you got a motion, you got a second?
Second.
You got a motion and a second, any discussion on it? Okay, table it, vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendry? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Let's go to the discussion of possible action concerning Leonard Road.
You know, Mr. Chairman,
That's
Commissioner, I don't know if y'all have had a chance to read my summary there, but a good bit of information, and I can explain it, but I don't know if y'all had a chance to read through that.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, only thing I want to know, Scott, is that a county road or is that a private road?
That we cannot determine. Just like we did with Pascal Road, that section of Pascal. Only because the attorney, when they did the title abstract, they couldn't determine, going back 100 years, whether that's a county road or a private road. And I mentioned there's a green street sign there. I've had this discussion with the former public works director about 5-6 years ago. And he told me then, he said, we've never, as long as he's been there since '89, I think it was, that, he said they've never graded that road. But we've got a gentleman that lives there on the corner, and he's asking about the county maintaining the road. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention and see what the county might want, the commission might want to do on this one.
And I will add, just generally with regard to, dirt roads, because we haven't had this come up in some of our other counties where, the title work is not clear, and possibly, there was some maintenance 30 years ago, but it has not been maintained, or even 10 years ago, there was maintenance at one point, but like in this case, my understanding is it's not being currently maintained, but there is a sign that does designate it, which would give at least some indication that it is a county road. So my recommendation would be if the board does not desire to maintain it and have it as a county road, then we need to go through the formal road closure process, just so it's very clear then that it is not a county road, that road is deeded to the nearby landowners. Just quit claim whatever right the county has to it, even though that may be no right at all from a title standpoint. But that's the way to get it cleared up.
I went and looked at the road, and it goes up there to them houses, and it turn around up there, and it looks like it probably was at one time. I think it's got a road sign at the end of it, ain't it? And, but you say there's no deed where it was ever a county, was it nothing you've ever found that?
And that doesn't necessarily mean, we have a lot of roads that we wouldn't have a deed to, because, many roads are by prescription. And so that's not, necessarily, that's only one avenue to ownership by the county. So,
If 2 or 3 people have seen the graders on it before 10, 15 years ago, then it should be graded, right?
I think that certainly combined with the fact that there is a road sign up, would indicate that at least at some point it was a county road. And so then my recommendation would be either the county maintains it or the county goes through the road closure process to then clearly close it, abandon it, and it'd be then private ownership.
Mr. Chairman, I got a couple of questions, Mr. Madam Attorney. Okay, you stated there's a sign up there.
At the
Does
end,
that mean that
At
the
the
county
end.
put it up? Or is it like,
not necessarily.
I thought it was a
Probably
county, is it not a county sign?
It's a county, it's
Yeah,
the green
county
sign.
road sign.
Yes, sir. But I'm thinking it might have been put up because of 911.
Yeah.
If somebody says I live on Leonard Lane and it's one of those residents in the back, then they need to know that's where that road, I'm just guessing.
I'm thinking Harold Gwynn probably put those
Could be,
up
just
at
so
one
that when they
time.
saw the
Mr.
sign, they
Harold
knew
Gwynn
that was
went
it.
around and put
Because
up a lot of roads.
it doesn't look like a street or road at all. Looks like a private drive.
okay,
Yeah.
my next question is, okay, can we just go and arbitrarily just close the road? Or usually don't we get a request from the property owners to close,
So the road closure process in Georgia is, you're right, it requires advertisement, it requires sending notice to nearby affected landowners, it requires a public hearing. So there is a process to it. It's not like we would just take a vote to close it tonight. We would go through that normal process. To start the process, usually we get an application from a landowner.
Right.
But it could also be that the county itself, determines that it's necessary, and so that, the county itself could file that application in that scenario.
So, and Jerry, you've been up there longer than any of us up here. Have that ever come up about this Leonard Lane?
Yeah, it's done been up before.
It's been up before?
Since I've
Never
been
heard
there.
of it.
It's your ad. Yeah, this is the
Public
second
Works
time.
Director says they never maintain it, that's all I need. I don't see maintaining it. Give it back to the joint property owner, give it property owners.
Mr. Chairman, I repaired Mr. Merritt's, septic system not long ago. I don't believe this road's getting maintained by our graders, is it?
Is not,
I don't think it is.
It
I
don't.
parked my equipment down this lane when I done his repair. I don't believe that we're maintaining it, cause it's grassy.
it's got grass on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure is.
Now, his complaint here is the neighbors have dumped beach sand in the road that's getting in his brakes. Okay? How is them people gonna get to their house if we shut that off?
Good question.
We
Yeah.
can't
See,
shut
that's
a private drive
That was
down.
one of the things I was gonna put out, because if you deed that supposed road to the property owners, that Mr. Merrick will own that front section.
Yes.
And so the folks in the back won't be able to get through there, you know, but,
Yeah.
Well, he can't landlock it.
that's what I mean.
That's
You
what
can't
it's gonna
block
be,
them off.
landlocked if you deed that to, Mr. Merrick there, because this fella that lives on the other side of the road here, he's got some Bobcat equipment, some skid steer equipment and all. He might have been the one trying to fix a hole with the sand, okay? But there's no way that you could deed this land over here to them and shut them off from getting back to their house.
Yeah, that, I mean,
Now, that's gonna create a bigger problem right there when you
Well,
start.
it's a problem we can't,
Yeah.
you can't do that. I mean, they'll have a perpetual easement right through there if they've been, I mean, you can't stop that. You can't stop them from getting to the property.
I mean, this is on Q Public, so for the most part, what do you think the accuracy rate of Q Public is? 94.5%? There's a few, I mean, I think it'd be pretty accurate, and it's got the fine lines right there. I just don't think that we couldn't deed it to this homeowner here. We can't deed that section, so he closes it off for them people back there.
So the determination is it, you know, our determination is it a county road, or has it ever been maintained in any way to suggest it's a county road? So Commissioner Hendricks is exactly right. The law will not allow someone to be landlocked. I mean, you can always, a person can bring a private action to the court to request an easement, you know, just as Commissioner Lucas said, that is accurate. But from our standpoint, I don't think we even have to jump into the fray if we know, if we're confident and we can say, I understood that was a county sign, that the county had put it up, but if there's no historic record of any maintenance, you know, if there's no historic record that it was ever deeded to the county, if there's no historic record that we put up a sign, then really it's just truly a private way, and then they have to manage,
What they put in.
they
that
manage
road.
it how they will, so.
And you can
Mr.
buy,
Larry?
Ms. Counselor, you can buy road signs. I mean, I've got one on some of our property that says Lucas Lane on it, and it looks just like a county sign. I mean, it's green, silver trim,
That's why I
same
was-
size.
That's why I said it, if it going up saying, well, it's a road sign up there, well, who put the road sign up there? Is it a county road sign?
I went back
It's
and
the
searched the
county's.
minutes for years and years and years, way back, and that Leonard Lane that I've been able to find, has never been mentioned before, which I find very difficult to believe, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Mr. Larry, is it on our, road grader routes?
I couldn't tell you right now, this is the first I heard of it.
Okay.
I have to check tomorrow, let you know, but as far as I know, it's not.
I done this work probably 7 months ago over there, and I don't think that road's getting maintained by us.
No, it ain't been, man, I've been out there
It's
looking.
it's mostly
I went a
grass.
couple
Yeah,
times.
it's almost just like a two-path drive. It
Yeah.
does got a couple, like some swell ditches down the sides of it. I mean, they built it up and made that driveway like they're supposed to, but, there ain't no motor grader going there now.
Okay,
I
who's,
believe-
who's asking for this to be done?
Mr. Merrick,
Merrick?
Jeff Merrick,
Well,
he's wanting the county to maintain it.
the only thing we can tell him then, I guess, is if I'm not, we can either tell him, okay, you build this road to the county specs and deed it to us, and we'll maintain it. Or either you continue with it as a private lane,
Yeah.
and, all those people still have a right to go back.
Yeah.
Because if we take the road and we go to maintain it, we're gonna have to have, just like out there at the church we do it, and you got to
That's
get the
right.
deed to it. And, it's got to be given to the county, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
And I agree with you, Mr. Chairman, I don't think just saying, well, there's a road sign out there,
No, that ain't gonna.
I don't
do it.
think that's gonna cut it, you know, I mean, cause we don't know who put the road sign up.
Well, the road department came and put a, Polk Lane sign at my driveway because 911, it has nothing to do with the county. They just came and put it up for 911.
That's probably what that was done
Probably
for.
what happened there.
When-
Well, I think just like Commissioner Salmon said, I'm repeating myself, if we go out there and you start landlocking people out and all that,
No.
now you really done open up a hornet's nest now.
Yeah, if there's
You
somebody
know.
living back, I can't tell,
Yeah.
but
That's probably
if
fine.
somebody
Which-
living there, we can't do it.
From what Scott just said, the issue's really, he don't want it. He wants us just to maintain it. He doesn't really want to close it. All he wants is just to maintain.
Just to maintain it. I
Okay.
got a text just now, because some, folks watching this said
That's right.
that their mother used to live there, years ago, and it was her father's property, and it's always been a private drive.
Private
Well, there
drive.
you go.
Okay.
And I would be very hesitant to put Mr. Larry's neck and his employees, the county employees on a private drive, and let's get out there and one of them might get hurt, or we might hit something underground and have to start repairing, and then it'd be thrown up, oh, y'all messed this up on a private road. I don't wanna stick at the county's neck out here like that.
And not, Mr. Mayor, he's a nice fella. I mean, he's an art,
Yeah.
don't wanna say, I'm not saying nothing bad about him, but, yeah, we just don't need to maintain that private drive. And just keep on doing like they've been doing for years.
So we'll just need a motion to say that, the investigation shows that it has not been a county-maintained road, and it is a private drive, and so no further action by the county.
Okay.
I make a motion that it is a private drive and has not been maintained by the county, and make the motion to not maintain it.
I second that motion.
Okay.
And may I add that no further action needs to be taken at this time?
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burson.
Aye.
Mr. Pope.
Aye.
Mr. Lucas.
Aye.
Mr. Henry.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. All right. G, approve request for the public work days and hours of operation change. Now,
You can come on to work.
you wanting to go to work at 12, knock off at 1, and take an hour off for lunch?
I was thinking like 8:30.
Get started.
Get it done Monday through
Drink
Wednesday.
donuts and go home. Yes, sir. But what I'd like to do is, try 14-hour days. I believe this will make us more efficient, especially with the motor grader operation and the boys laying pipe trying to fix the roads. Because of the evening, sometimes the motor graders, depending on where they're at in the county, they liable to have to quit grading the road at 2:30 to drive back to their truck to get back to the shop to clock out at 3:30. Where if we went to 5 o'clock, you got that extra time they ain't got to worry about, they keep on grading, and then it'll save us a day's worth of fuel and gas on our vehicles on Friday. And, most of them's all in agreement, and we would like to try it, and we'll work out a schedule with the 911 folks where, me and Mike's always on call, but we got some of these men that would volunteer also to be on call, so we'd be covered Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just like we always have been. Most all your counties will do it, some of your private companies are doing it. And I was hoping y'all would go along with it, and I might could use it as a recruiting tool too for some of these older folks that might like a 3-day weekend or a little time off.
Mayor, excuse me.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
So
Go ahead, Lynn.
you're talking about 10-hour days for,
Correct.
now can you break it down, which employees we talking about? Not all public works.
We're talking about the whole public works and the shop. Come in at 6:30 in the morning, and then they got time to get out there by 7 o'clock to their machines or start their jobs. And then they would work like they always do, take a 30-minute dinner on the site like they do now, and then come in at 5 o'clock of the evening, Monday through Thursday.
What time are they coming in now?
3:30,
I mean, what time they go on duty?
7 to 3:30.
7 to 3:30.
Yes. So you're adding 30 minutes of the morning and an hour and a half of the evening.
How your, operators think about it?
Most all of them's
Good?
good with it. And like Mr. Leonard talking about the evening, if it don't work, we can always go back to
Go back to-
5/8, so I mean, it ain't.
Sound like a good thing to give it a try.
Yes, sir. I'd like to.
The biggest thing
What
is
about the
time
winter
sa-
months?
Sir?
What about the winter months?
Well,
When you
at
got
5
short
o'clock in the
days, you
winter,
only got about 10 hours of daytime.
well, in the wintertime, you know, you still don't get dark till 6 o'clock, so you still have that time of the evening, you know, there's a little bit of daylight left at 5 o'clock.
I think they're talking about going back to where that time is just gonna be, don't have this
Not
daylight
changed.
saving
Not
time
changed.
and
I
all.
hope so.
Florida's
I
already
thought they
done
were
it.
gonna do it this year,
I
but
know. While you're there, I've got a question for the fire chief.
Okay.
I know that y'all changed, tasks, and when a limb blows down, a tree, y'all are always on duty, and y'all have been taking over that on the, at-need basis, right? Is that working out?
Yes, sir.
Of course, Larry's people are always on call,
That's right.
but,
If it's something that we can't, if it's too big for us, we pass it on to Mr. Larry and them. But right now, when a limb or a tree comes across the road, 911 dispatches us, and we go out and do our best to remove it, to clear the roadway.
and that's at night too.
Yes, sir.
I was on the, ACCG, liability insurance board, and had a case over in southwest Georgia. The road superintendent was eating breakfast. Somebody came in, there's a tree down on X road. Well, I get to it, so finally got through after about 30 minutes and got back to the public works department, told somebody to get a chainsaw and a truck and a dump truck. In the meantime, a van of high school students had come by, hit the tree in the road, not marked, and two died, and others were severely injured. And the insurance company had to pay a lot of money because of that, and rightfully so. The road superintendent was not covered because he was sued individually. He finally filed for bankruptcy and finally committed suicide because of that. So the fact that y'all, to me, the fact that you're out there as fast as you possibly can means a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of liability, in that stuff.
We tried, we got it with Ms. Fay, so they dispatched the closest engine, whether it's
Right.
3 or Station 1, and we get to them as quick as we can. Like I said, if it's something too big, we get with Mr. Larry where they have to come out and get it with heavy equipment or whatever, but
If y'all-
we do, we'll put cones out the side.
I didn't mean to interrupt. One more thing. If you're there and you got to have help and you call Larry, y'all still are there, right?
Yes, sir.
And you don't leave while that tree's there.
No,
That's
sir.
a big deal, and I appreciate y'all doing it.
Yes.
Marlon's been doing a good job too, every one I've been to, they've been sitting there waiting on me to get there.
Good.
The sheriff department and fire department have been staying there till we get there and get through and get out of the way.
Good.
That's covering that aspect of it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we got our HR director, and I guess I'm just asking this, is there anything as far as from the HR side that would prohibit that? If we go to the 4 10-hour days and, the 3-day?
No, work schedules are set by the companies, and as long as we're following Department of Labor rules, that we're paying minimum wage and we're paying overtime after 40 hours in a week, there's no restriction that I know of on it.
You don't see any reason not to do it.
No, I know there's a lot of other counties that do that.
Okay. Thank you,
Is
Commissioner.
it gonna
We'll be on good
mean,
legal
Teresa,
grounds
that
too, right?
everybody else will probably wanna do that too, in these offices and different things?
I mean,
I mean, we're gonna bring on
too,
something
but
that could be trouble.
it's not feasible for everybody, and I mean, that's for you all to determine what departments it would be feasible for. And I think reasonable people can understand that every office, every department can't do a 4-day work week. And they need to be in the office for 5 days, because we do serve the community, and we do have citizens coming in, and we can't close more than 2 days sometimes, so.
Right.
And Larry, if I understood you correctly, you say even with this 4-day, if we go to that, you still have people that's gonna be on call
Yes, sir.
if something comes up.
Yes, sir, me and Michael worked out something, where one or the other of us will always be on call, but we don't have a list of men that, you know, if it's something that we ain't got to go on, that one of these volunteers can go on.
How about the maintenance people and all, cleaned up the building and all, they might wanna go on 10 hours. They'll wear the broom out sweeping 10 hours. They go on at 8.
Well, we can kinda experiment with this right here first.
But I believe, once we try it and get in the routine, you'll see that with the road grading and the actual getting across the road with the pipe and all, it would make us more efficient, because if you, like laying pipe across the road, you know, you ain't got to start worrying about 130, what I gotta do to get this road open, or could I go on across the road?
Right.
Just a couple of hours difference, make or break you sometimes in the day.
So you'll be able to stay on the job longer in a day.
Correct.
I think it's, myself, I just think it'd be worth a try, like I say, cause it's not etched in stone that it's gonna be from this way all
Yeah, man,
perpetuity, but, you know, hey, I mean, try it.
yeah.
It'll work good through the summer months. It's gonna be hard to work in the winter months.
Yeah.
You don't get out there that early, won't be dark, daylight.
And so it is understood that when they come on duty, they can't be like, if they come on, what you say, 6:30?
6:30.
That, they sit there at 8:30, because now
8,
that'd be kinda productive then, you know?
Yeah,
it's-
you ain't gonna,
They go ahead and get on that shop now. I mean, I don't.
Is that how y'all operate at the railroad?
Well, when I was out there, we didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
But that's been about 10 years ago since I retired. But that's something that, since you mentioned it though, really the railroad have been entertaining it, like saying certain departments,
Yes, sir.
going to 4 10-hour days.
they always done it, yeah.
Well, I know them railroad people out there, you know, them, one of them holds a ratchet, one of them holds the bolt, one of them holds the nut. Takes 3 people to,
Well, you know, like I said, that may have been in those departments. I was in transportation, so I can't really say one way or the other on that.
You're
Sound
one
like
of the
hard on
workers.
you, Mr. Lane.
Huh?
Sound like getting hard on you.
Yeah, I think Timmy trying to kind of, you know, throw a little rock down here, you know.
Yeah, but if that were y'all would allow us, we'd like to try it one time anyway.
Do we need a motion on that, Madam Attorney?
It doesn't formally require a motion, but I think just so then it's clear what the views of,
Just
the
the,
commission are. Let's go ahead and take one.
When did you want to start?
today.
Well, I would have to get with Teresa and Beverly to get the ADP and all that lined out, so it'd probably be middle of August, or, you know, I just have to get with them and actually see. Be sure there wasn't a hang up on
or
that.
then on Fridays, if something happened, we ain't gonna have nobody at Public Works.
You'd have to call us.
How much
That's a
does
day.
it
You
happen
got-
that stuff happens
and
on
then you got
Friday now to where we're gonna have to
3-day
pay all this
weekend.
overtime
Well,
after
you
we
know,
call
it's-
somebody in
it's
every
just-
Friday?
I don't know, it comes and goes with, you know, I've been out twice in one weekend, and then you go a couple of weekends where you
Without
don't do
nothing.
nothing. That's just a roll of the dice, sir. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I mean, that's,
Well, just my opinion, I've always been, I went to 4 days and I got behind. Working 4 days a week, but that's just my opinion now. I like 5 days a week, especially with any county, any public works department, any road department. I like 5 days a week because somebody's there 5 days a week.
That's right.
And, if they've worked all their hours there and just say they have to come in, say it takes 3 people, 4 people come in on a Friday and they sit there and work 5, 6 hours apiece, that's some overtime money, you know?
Where this 4-day stuff comes from is people working out of a suitcase. We always, when we worked out of a suitcase, we worked 4 days. We worked from daylight to dark. We left on Thursday, we came home.
Yeah, but we was working 50, 60 hours.
Yeah.
And
we get
I never even got the
60 hours
5th day
in 4
off.
days, you know.
But, that's just
Can't
me,
do that.
as long as it can stay together and we don't get behind or we don't have them, well, lollygagging coming back because they're gonna get this time and they're off a 3-day weekend to where they leave from on the other end of the county at 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? As long as we keep it under control, you know, it might be okay. I don't know.
I don't think it's, like I say, Larry, you Public Works Director, so if it starts going south, we're gonna look to you to
To
say,
let us
hey, you
know.
know what? It sounded good, we thought it would work. this is what I found out, and we're gonna go back, So I think we need to always keep that door open, that where if it doesn't work out, we can come back to what we were doing,
That's perfectly fine.
if we vote, to do it.
Okay, we got any more discussion on it? Or you wanna table it and come back again and think about it a little bit?
He needs an answer right now.
Think it over?
Yeah, I think he needs an answer right now, because he
Yeah,
wants to
that's-
get it done to try it, probably before the end of the summer.
You wanna think?
I'm for it. If you're doing a poll, I'm for it. Give him
Yeah.
a chance.
I'll give Mr. Larry a chance. I mean,
I'm willing to, hey, give it a chance.
he's the director.
Don't work out.
He works with them daily.
Make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I offer motion that we, approve this request from the Public Works Director to go to 4-hour, 4-day, 10-hour work days, with the understanding that if it doesn't really work out, we revert back to the 5-day, 8-hour.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Got any discussion on it?
I'd like to add that I do understand if you're going across the road and all, where it will help you. It will help you tremendously. You can go ahead and get on across the road and not having to worry about getting back to the shop by 3:30. In that instance, it will help things tremendously.
Okay,
Take the
We
vote.
gonna vote?
let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Chair vote no. Okay.
Mr. Larry, only thing I ask is if we don't do what the railroad does, and I put 3 people on the grader.
No,
Hey, man, leave them railroad people alone.
Okay.
The graders,
I was gonna ask you for that, have they got a date on those yet?
no, I've got all the hours on the machines. And like I was telling them a while ago, we got a couple that got high hours, but if these was old machines without computers on, we could still go another 7,000 or 8,000 hours. But I got 2 one's got 10,660 hours on it. The other's got 9,060 hours, and then they got 2 that's knocking on 9,000 hours. And with today's electronics and all this desk system, the hours don't scare me except for all of the stuff they put on the machine like that. So, if you would, we could look at maybe buying 2 machines this year and just kind of phasing this stuff in until some of these other machines get some more hours on. I mean, we're gonna have a few repairs, but it'd be spent better than spending $2 or $3 million on a bunch of motor graders at one time.
Okay. What about
Them graders they run twice that many hours.
The old machines would, but this electronic mess, that's what goes bad on them, the computers and the depth and all that.
Yeah.
And, but if it was a straight machine like 20 years ago, you get 20,000 hours out of a motor grader, no problem.
how's
We
he
still
gonna
got some money left, haven't we, Scott?
Yes, sir.
For ARPA to
Yes,
buy a
sir.
couple of motor graders. We had talked about that before, about putting 2 new graders
Yeah,
on.
yeah, I've got a RFP that I'm working on. I should finish it in the next 3 days to bid this out and get it on the street, so we can try to do it in the next few weeks.
Okay.
Let's
we
get
don't-
some prices and
Yeah.
look at them.
I thought we're gonna have I thought we were gonna let the workers, the employees actually go out there and operate some of these
Demonstrate.
things.
Well,
Which
they-
one-
We
the
can set
demonstration.
it up, or we'll have
We'll
a
demonstrate
demonstration. And see, which way you wanna, so y'all wanna buy 2 machines, or y'all wanna lease them? We need to know, so when he puts the bid out, how they need to do the price.
Well, we'll have to
Lease
buy
them.
them if we use that ARPA money, won't we?
You could,
Scott?
yes, sir.
Yeah, we have to buy them,
Buy 2 outright.
yeah.
And I believe, Larry, you said that, I know it's 2 different types. So you got the one with the sloper
Yeah,
thing.
both of these motor graders here with the high hours are straight machines.
I'm talking the one you talking about. Get
Yeah, we could, I would like a sloper and a straight machine. But these 2 high-hour machines are both straight machines, so we could buy 2 straight machines this year with the ARPA money. And then if they start giving us trouble with these slopers, add them next year or later on. Just whatever y'all gentlemen like to do.
Okay, so would you, what about like one straight one and one sloper?
That would be fine.
I mean, you need a sloper, right?
Yes, we need a sloper, and one of these machines, you know, the highest sloper that I got's got 8,853 hours on it. Just like Elmer said, that ain't a lot of hours on a motor grader till you start looking at the DEF system and the electronics, the computer stuff. And that's what's killing us on this stuff now, is the plastic parts they got telling the machine what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could do one sloper and one straight machine.
I mean, I just,
Yeah, I would.
I mean, you the public works director, and you know what you need, and,
That works for me. I appreciate it.
Okay, let's get us some prices on them.
Does the
Caterpillar,
county manager get that put out?
Yep.
He said he'd be ready with the referendum in about 3 days.
Okay.
Have it ready. Thank you, Mr. Larry.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
You too.
Okay, I've got any county manager report.
Actually, that was one of the things I was bringing up about the graders, about how
Okay.
y'all might wanna try to do that, but.
All right, and the commission got any comments?
I don't,
Scott, I'd like to ask about that road out there now. Do y'all remember us saying that we would change that road over for Mr. Rouse in the church?
I remember.
Where's,
Huh?
next to
We voted on
Westboro
it.
Baptist?
Voted to, change that road over. Do we have the deed to that property? Madam?
Is this the
Count
one,
it.
and I'm sorry, is this the one about next to the church?
For the church, the little church, we can give Roscoe
Okay.
Mixon Road.
Right, so based on my recollection was we were gonna treat this one just like we did the one previously where there was a road one place, but they desired for the road to be removed. And so the commission's direction was to do it the same we did last time. And so I emailed them a plan of action that said, you know, here's what we need. We need a survey that shows the road to be closed. That'll go through the road closure procedure. We need you to build the new road, and then we need a survey and a deed that references that survey, then showing the new road. They did send some deeds as far as, you know, trying to close it, but it didn't have a survey attached, and there were some issues, and so we did communicate back with, and I apologize, I don't remember which law office, it was a paralegal, do you remember?
Wasn't it Kemp? Let's see.
I thought it was Parker, no, not Parker.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't remember what law office it was that they were working with, but we did communicate back with them, and I don't think I heard anything after that.
Okay.
So, you know, we're certainly glad to work with them, but the direction to staff was to essentially march it just like we did the other one. And so we're glad to do that.
I think it was set out to say, listen, survey the new road, create a deed, give it to us, and then we'd go cut the road open.
Right.
You know, with
Larry,
the graders.
I showed Larry the road.
Yeah.
And Larry and I went out and looked at it. Now, Larry, you touched base with Rouse, didn't you? And he said that they had, didn't he say they had the deed?
He said that, the county
Had the deed, didn't he?
had the information.
What we may need to do is just get whoever, you know, and it may be going through a lot of different people, so probably get whoever the main players are as far as their attorney's office that's doing the work, and then, you know, Mr. Thrift, and, you know, we can get to the bottom of it and figure out what the issues are, but.
Well, Mr. Rouse, he's passed, see, so we know that they would probably be no, you know, Mr. Tommy, he done passed on. And he was the one that
I
owned the
remember.
property and was deeding it over.
And that's
but
kinda one of the.
Wayne said that
Right.
it was deeded over.
Well, they do have a deed, but I don't think as I recall, they just quit claimed it to the county. If it's the one, and I have to go back and look at the paperwork because I haven't looked at it in a while, but if it's my recollection was when in the plan of action, we had detailed, you know, the county needs a warranty deed. We need to know that we have a right to that property. So if they quit claim their right to it, you know, that's not the level of, the deed that we need. And so that, I do remember there was one issue, I'm not sure if it was this one, but I think it was.
Okay.
And what was it, we were doing that road because did they do an
Sure.
addition or they were gonna close?
They were going to, the road comes real close to that building, and they were gonna add on, and I think maybe redo the parking lot.
Right.
So they wanted to basically close that road and move it further south.
Yeah.
Actually on the edge of their
Right.
church property, and move it that way so they could get to the house in the back.
Because we maintain the road currently.
Correct.
Right,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
I remember that.
And that road's real
Right.
close to that house that they converted over.
Yeah, they
Remember, that was
converted it.
Commissioner Barnard's project, he got everybody together and started that, he probably knows more about it than anybody else.
Who do we need to communicate with at the church now that,
David Beckham.
Yeah.
Mr. Beckham? Okay. I think
David
And
Beckham.
I've got his number and
Yeah,
email, so we can.
We need to
we'll
talk
find
to
out.
David,
Yeah.
he's probably more up on.
Yeah, I just remember the way it stood was they were to have it, the new road surveyed and created deeded over with a warranty deed. And then we would go in there and create the road there with graders.
Okay,
That way it became our property and we could work on it.
okay. All right.
And then after it's open, officially
Close the
go
other.
back and close the old road.
Okay. Maybe I can have David to come in.
Next
All right,
month.
is there any more?
No, sir.
I'd like to ask on these railroad crossings that we talked about out on Central Avenue, Night Avenue.
Yes, sir.
Have we heard anything anymore about closing or anything?
Not a
about
word.
that?
They were supposed to, the last I remember they were supposed to contact us about 3 months ago. It was sometime in late April, early May, but nothing since then.
They were supposed to come up with a written plan to show us what they're planning.
That's correct. They were gonna do more detail and more information and. I
They
haven't heard
implied
anything.
that ain't gonna happen, so.
Yeah, I
Now,
think,
Warsaw sent us a letter stating that there was some grants out there for.
Yes, sir.
that we could
For
get
railroad crossings,
for railroad
to close
crossings,
crossings, yes, sir. Yeah,
Way cross.
yeah.
And, he asked us to get together, so would y'all be with us? Let's try to get together with the city and let's have a meeting and see if we can talk up
Yeah.
maybe a railroad crossing out there.
I think that's that grant you and I were talking about, Scott.
It is.
Say,
Same.
okay.
Right. Yeah, he said that they was available.
Yeah, I think when that group came here, I think they were doing good till you scared them off by overpass and
Yeah.
all that. They
They went
kind of
way.
scared them off.
That they wanted just make a crossing there. I said,
Yeah.
nah, we're gonna put an overpass.
Yeah, you were talking about overpass there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's good, you know, hey.
We want an overpass. We don't want no more crossings.
So, let me ask this question, Scott, so, that's in the county,
Yes, sir.
out there, talking about the Night Avenue.
That's
So,
correct.
would the city, would that carry a little more weight if we just had them to support it? Because, how would that work to get the city involved with it?
Well, see what I'm looking at, you got City Boulevard there. It's in the city.
Mm-hmm. It's in the city,
It's
yes,
in the
sir.
city. Okay, that's probably one of the worst intersections.
Talking
I
about
don't
up
know
there
if we can put a crossing there or not, but we can move it out a little bit and get one
by-
through.
Talking about up there by where the, old Pick and Save?
Old Pick and Save, yeah. That's a bad intersection right there. You don't have to have a train to come by there to have to wait.
It's just a matter of time, just from the standpoint of more train traffic there, and they're talking about double tracking that area too.
Yeah, and they're running
It's
more
gonna
trains
get
over there now.
where all those crossings in that area will be blocked completely.
Yeah, they running more trains on that Brunswick side over there.
Yeah.
Making them longer too.
Yeah.
I was there 2 or 3 times this weekend, and 2 of the 3 times I went by, train was blocking that crossing,
Yeah,
just stopped.
That's them hard-working railroads.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's them that sit back in them leather chairs and fall asleep.
he sat back here.
But there's eventually gonna have to be an overpass somewhere on the east side or southeast side of Waycross.
Gonna have to be.
I
gonna
tell you
have to
what,
be. There's no way
whenever,
around it.
whenever that train is blocking all the way out there over Morningside, you come up Davis Street, but in sometime that traffic is backed up all the way, just about back to Harrison Street. I mean, it just, because they're trying to come around that way to get by, you know?
Right.
I don't wanna leave here saying that I didn't try to do something about these railroad
Right,
crossings. That's the only reason I wanted some crossings, somewhere in Waycross. I was born and raised here, and the worst thing in Waycross needs is some overpasses.
Right, we need them.
I've always said, I've always wondered if you could calculate the amount of time and gas is wasted having to go around the trains back and two like they are.
There's enough wasted out there on
time
Ninth
is another-
Avenue and Central Avenue.
Yeah.
There's enough money out there wasted in probably a 10-year period to pay for it now, them overpasses.
We're registered for that webinar Thursday. That's the one with that office about the railroad elimination. That
When
you
is
asked
it?
about.
Yeah, there's a webinar Thursday on that grant.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's what you asked
where's
me
it gonna
about.
be at?
Do it here?
it's,
Here?
yes, sir, it's online, it's online.
Oh, it's
I'm
online.
registered and then I can send you the
Yeah.
links to them.
How about you
But
send all
we
of
need a
us-
plan though to go to him, see
Well,
what I'm
that-
saying, that,
That is, you watch that and then take that and go wherever to meet with everybody, because they can watch it too.
Yeah, I sent it to the city for them to look at too.
So you gonna send that link for
I
us for
can
that
send that,
webinar?
or y'all can come up here and
Yeah.
watch it.
I'd rather. come
What
up
time
here
is
and
that?
watch it.
It's Thursday, at 1, I think.
yeah, and we asked a long engineer to, look at a plan on that,
Yeah.
Scott.
Yes, sir. Mhm. They can actually help, do a preliminary report and help with the grant process, the application process.
That's TR alone.
That,
Atlas is one
Atlas,
out
okay,
there,
Atlas.
which is Todd Loan.
Okay, Atlas is the one that's doing our comprehensive.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
Atlas.
Okay.
Okay. What about Albany? We ain't heard anything else on Albany?
No, sir, now that Gene and Brandon are gone, I've got to circle back up with the designers and know exactly where we're at right now. But the way, they were kind of holding still until we get everything in motion with having all those property, there's only about 6, I think, appraised. Because we mentioned doing the total acquisition of the property is much less expensive than putting those MSE walls in.
Okay.
Those walls, I think, was calculated somewhere around $4.5 million, just the walls. Not the bridge, just the walls. So if we can eliminate those and make it more like what DOT has put in with the other ones, then we can make it work
Okay.
and save money.
All right. Y'all got anything else?
No, sir.
I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Chair.
We got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.
All opposed?